And welcome back to round 5, game 3. We've just seen Aaron smash Andrew in the face for 26 damage with his control deck in one turn.
Yeah, Boris Reckoner Blasphemous Act. Who'd have thought that that was good?
So maybe you think Andrew will possibly change a couple of cards in his sideboard now that he's seen this?
I don't think so. I think he's going to have known that it was coming all the way. And really, Naya decks just don't have a good way of dealing with Boris Reckoner anyway. I mean, their only way to really deal with it is burning it, and that's not exactly optimal.
So is the answer really just more aggression now from Andrew?
I think the answer is to do what he's been doing, which is to stay on the front foot. And it's only the fact that Aaron one-shotted him with 2 Reckoners that was the problem.
You know, the longer the game goes, the more you have to think that Aaron can set up a situation like that.
Yeah, or he can resolve something like an Etherling that would be incredibly hard for Andrew to deal with. But Andrew's just coming out with creatures, as is the way of his deck.
So a similar start from his previous games with the Voice of Resurgence and Huntmaster?
Yeah, Voice of Resurgence isn't... it's an inconvenience to Aaron at this point, just because he has to cast stuff at sorcery speed. But that Reckoner's going to hold off pretty much Andrew's entire side of the board at the moment. And he was more than likely going to think about casting stuff at sorcery speed anyway, because the Huntmaster's there. And Aaron's got double Reckoner again, so he is threatening that 26-point Blasphemous Act.
But, you know, that is the start you want for Aaron.
Apart from the fact he's missed his 4th land drop, yeah. To put 2 Reckoners out there, there is just there's a distinct sense of none shall pass on Aaron's side of the board here. It's like getting involved in combat could be pretty tricky for Andrew Devine here.
So what can Andrew do to sort of get around the 2 Reckoners?
Well, he has Restoration Angel, he also has Thundermaw Hellkite as well, and he's just sending guys into the zone at this point. So my guess is he has Selesnya Charm. He could be running a bluff at this point, just because he has shown Aaron Selesnya Charm. Oh, in fact, there is Selesnya Charm. So,
but it's a bluff that's never going to work if it is a bluff.
Yeah.
Aaron has to block.
Yeah, I mean, taking 6 there isn't really an option, and killing the Huntmasters, killing Huntmaster is actually a pretty decent trade there. I mean, he's gone sort of 2 for 1.5 there, I'd say, more than anything else, because obviously Huntmaster leaves behind a wolf.
Could maybe Aaron have considered double blocking the Huntmaster?
No, because one of the Reckoners had already attacked last turn, so he only had the 1 Reckoner up. Aaron does have Supreme Verdict there, but he's going to leave Andrew with 2 elementals. When voices start coming out in multiples, things get a little bit tricky for you when you're a control player.
You're not even that happy about casting Supreme Verdicts at that point.
Oh no, I mean, you just leave the guy with 4 power on the table. Aaron's going to turn burn one of the Voice of Resistance, but this mana screw is going to, I think it's going to see Aaron done for pretty much here. I can't see him recovering from here. And again, just the mana stumbles that he's had in 2 games that he's had, just making things that little bit difficult for him, and Andrew's taking full advantage of it. As we see, it's like Voice of Resurgence hasn't been sort of the massive doom cloud for a control deck that a lot of people thought it could be, but it's it's obviously causing Aaron a lot of problems. Oop. Let me think about this attack before you give your Boros Reckoner first strike and kill my elemental. Reckoner does make combat maths very, very difficult to do.
It's important to note that when you say turn and burn, you actually just mean...
I just meant burn on that point, yeah. But just saying...
there's a lot of people, when you say turn and burn, would be like, why is there an elemental in play?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the problem is that using the phrase burn applies to just about every spell, every red direct damage spell in history, so apologies to anyone who was confused.
I think we mentioned this right at the start of game 1. Aaron's deck is one that just needs to make land.
Yep, and Andrews taking full advantage here with Thundermore Hellkite and just coming absolutely crashing over the borders.
Even if you gave Aaron a perfect hand from this point onwards, would he be able to deal with what was on the board?
Possibly. He'd be able to, if he had a perfect hand from here on in, he'd be able to do what he's doing now, which is block the elemental, redirect damage from Boris Reckoner to Voice of Resurgence. So that'd leave Andrew with one elemental, because the first elemental's going to die to state-based effects, and then he'd be able to go land Supreme Verdict and wipe Andrew up.
And Prey.
And Prey doesn't have a
Bonfire.
Thundermore Hellkite or a bonfire, but you know, he could certainly be able to, as Rob Wagner said, he'd certainly be able to play.
Well,
a game
Aaron
of
fails
Magic.
to make his fourth land, and therefore Andrew, with the overwhelming forces, takes this one 2-1.
Yeah, I knew you'd have the turn and burn for this as soon, but